Чекай.
Денацификаторы.
Вот так можешь вставать, да.
In a newly intercepted phone call released by Ukraine's main defense intelligence directorate, a resident of Russia's Belgorod region complains that the authorities are deliberately creating unbearable living conditions for people in border areas. Listen, they called me and said they've cut off the gas along the border. The authorities say just hold on a bit longer. It's obvious they want to force everyone out of the border villages, the man says during the call. According to him, local officials are preparing to turn the frontline area into a closed-off zone, something resembling a gray zone or a temporary accommodation area. They'll turn it into a zone, like those other zones, and that's it. They'll even fence us in with barbed wire, he adds. Earlier this month, Kyiv Post reported that Russian President Vladimir Putin once again called for a security buffer zone along the border with Ukraine, a move Kyiv sees as a clear sign that the Kremlin is not interested in peace. On Monday, President Volodymyr Zelensky said in a closed meeting with journalists that Russia is currently attempting to create a so-called buffer zone about 10 kilometers deep in Sumy region, amassing over 50,000 troops. Ukraine's intelligence agency added, "For every war crime committed against the Ukrainian people, there will be just retribution." Earlier last year, Kyiv Post interviewed Maria, who works as one of Ukrainian intelligence's professional eavesdroppers, and spoke about the shocking things she hears. Russia regularly dismisses the content of intercepted calls published by Ukraine, saying they are fake, a claim Kyiv Post put to Maria. She said, "They are real, even though they might seem insane. Sometimes I can't believe the words I'm hearing myself, but we have what we have." Destruction of a Russian Tu-S1 Gvozdika self-propelled howitzer by Ukraine's 38th Marine Brigade. The Tu-S1 Gvozdika is a Soviet-era 122mm self-propelled howitzer based on a tracked MTLB chassis. Entering service in the early 1970s, it offers amphibious capability and high mobility, making it ideal for rapid deployment. A Russian prisoner captured on the southern front. A Nazi tattoo with the inscription Rus. Tell me you are from Russia without saying you are Russian. And they are also fighting Nazism in Ukraine.
Чекай.
Денацификаторы.
Вот так можешь вставать, да.
Сними, может, второй, этот, и пусть снимает полностью кофту.
Так он так хочет, конечно.
A Russian bishop shared that he enjoys communicating with former Russian convicts, now assaultmen, who will soon die in Ukraine. According to him, the Russian commanders themselves say that none of them will return.
Comparatively, I somehow prefer men. I love talking with them the most, with former convicts, because they are the most exposed to danger. Especially those whom you send off to battle, you understand that they will die. Almost all of them will die. And they tell us, the commander says probably none of them will return. And you just gave them communion, heard their confessions, anointed them, and you look into their beautiful Russian eyes and feel sorry for them. And you see in those eyes, they know they will die. But they have already, they have gone through so much, these stages of acceptance or rejection. Yes, that they have already accepted everything. That is, they have even come to terms with it, and they are already going as if to their death, understanding that essentially this is not the end of life.
What awaits them next? That is true life.
Italy has no plans to lift restrictions on supplying long-range weapons to Ukraine. Fatto Quotidiano reports, citing government sources. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni had already voiced opposition to such deliveries last summer. The White House is weighing how to pressure Russia without breaking ties with Putin, Reuters reports. Trump is wary of sanctions, but aides say his frustration with Putin is growing. He may let the Graham-Blumenthal bill pass, imposing 500% tariffs on buyers of Russian oil while maintaining back channels. In the latest overnight assault, Russian forces struck Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv, causing significant damage to civilian infrastructure. A public transport depot was hit directly, resulting in the complete destruction of one trolleybus and damage to dozens more. This blow to the city's transit system is expected to disrupt daily commutes for thousands of residents. The attack also damaged more than 30 residential buildings, further endangering the lives of civilians and adding to the growing number of displaced families. Emergency services worked through the night to assess the damage and assist those affected. This strike is part of a broader escalation in attacks targeting civilian areas, raising renewed concerns about violations of international humanitarian law. Local authorities continue to document the destruction as Ukraine calls on the international community for increased air defense support to protect its cities from ongoing Russian aggression. City officials have condemned the strike as a deliberate attack on civilian life, calling it yet another example of Russia's disregard for human rights and international norms. Back to the battlefield. Ukrainian border guard drone operators from the Phoenix unit have successfully identified and destroyed Russian R-330 Zhetel electronic warfare system during a recent operation. The action was confirmed via combat footage published on May 29th by the unit's official channel. The R-330 Zhetel system is a mobile, automated jamming station designed to interfere with enemy communications and satellite signals. According to the report, Russian forces had concealed the system within a built-up area, attempting to use civilian infrastructure to shield it from detection and strike. Despite the adversary's efforts, Ukrainian aerial reconnaissance teams located the hidden target. The Phoenix unit, specializing in drone-based intelligence and precision strikes, identified the position of the electronic warfare system and moved swiftly to neutralize it. Kamikaze drones were employed in the operation. 2 drones scored direct hits, igniting the system. A third drone confirmed the destruction, capturing footage of the smoldering wreckage and ensuring that the electronic warfare threat was fully eliminated. In addition to the Zhetel system, the Phoenix pilots successfully targeted and destroyed Russian military shelters and motorcycles used to transport personnel to the front line. These follow-up strikes further weakened the enemy's tactical mobility and operational security in the area. The significance of this strike lies not only in the destruction of an expensive and strategically valuable asset, but also in the symbolic victory over the very system designed to suppress Ukrainian drone activity. With one less jammer in the field, Ukrainian forces will face fewer obstacles in their aerial reconnaissance and strike missions. An explosion occurred at the Serbian Krušik ammunition factory, just 1 day after Russia accused it of supplying weapons to Ukraine. The Serbian outlet N1 reported on this. In the morning at around 7:40 a.m., during a routine operation of pressing PETN, an initiation of the explosive mixture took place. As a result, 1 worker was injured, and 4 others sustained minor injuries with symptoms resembling a concussion. The Krušik factory in Valjevo is one of the leading enterprises in Serbia's defense industry, specializing in the production of a wide range of ammunition and missile weaponry. The PETN mentioned in the report, which caused the explosion, was likely being used to equip fuses for artillery ammunition or the shaped charge warhead of anti-tank missiles. The incident occurred 1 day after the Foreign Intelligence Service of the Russian Federation accused Serbia's defense industry of supplying ammunition to Ukraine, in contradiction to Belgrade's officially declared neutrality. The Foreign Intelligence Service of the Russian Federation stated that the volume of weapons supplied is measured in hundreds of thousands of rockets for multiple launch rocket systems and howitzers, as well as millions of rounds of small arms ammunition. One of the key suppliers of these weapons, according to the Russian agency, is the aforementioned Krušik plant. Previously, their 122mm ER Grad 2000 rockets were observed being used by Ukrainian forces. However, this is not the first incident involving the detonation of explosive materials at the Serbian plant. In August of last year, an explosion occurred in a production workshop at the same factory. An artillery shell detonated. At the time of the incident, 20 people were present in the facility, 8 of whom were injured. 1 person was hospitalized with serious bodily injuries. The plant's executives stated at the time that the incident had not been widespread, which had helped avoid significant casualties and material damage.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please Please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.